It's Mother's Day. It's Christian Family Sunday. My name's David Woodall with the Emsdale Pastoral Charge of the United Church of Canada. When I first heard about this letter, I realized that this letter, written from a young woman to her mother, was especially appropriate for us today. And when she sent me a copy of the letter, she added these words: "This letter is to my mom for her birthday." It was not written with the intent to embarrass any of the parents, but rather to acknowledge how very lucky we are to be living where we are and the opportunities that we have. We do live like kings. And here's the letter. Hello, Mama. Since coming to this remote northern Ontario community, I've had the chance to think a lot about what makes good communities and good families. In the last 2 months, I have seen many things that make me angry and frustrated and upset. However, being in a place like this also gives lots of opportunity for thoughts about my life so far. And even amid so much despair, there are always moments of beauty. So today, when your birthday is being celebrated by the people who love you, I want to share some of the many reasons why I appreciate you and why I am so grateful to have you as my mom. Thank you for being a mom who cares about where we are at night, for making sure we brush our teeth and wear warm pajamas, for tucking us into bed and reading us stories and saying prayers so we go to sleep feeling warm and safe and loved. Thank you for being a mom who makes sure we have good food every day, for never letting us drink pop for lunch, for refusing to buy white bread and making us eat the super healthy, all the grain you can imagine brown variety, for sending us to school with breakfast in our tummies. Thank you for caring so much about us that you listen to the weather forecast every morning so that we will go to school dressed properly for the weather, even if this means we feel ridiculous or uncool in our toques or balaclavas and tunnels and mittens and scarves, and especially when we know we look ridiculous in our boots. Just so you know, wear my Sorels every day here, even though I look ridiculous in them. You'd be so proud of me. Thank you for making us good meals that are healthy and filling, and for making enough food that there's always enough for seconds, whether we want them or not. Thank you for caring about how well we do in school, for checking our homework, for helping us with our spelling and math, for teaching us to read, for finding out who our teachers are. Thank you for caring so much about education that you help other kids learn, for teaching kids whose parents aren't paying attention to them, for helping these children read and write and realize their potential to be great. Thank you for keeping us busy at home, for having a house filled with toys and books and games, for instilling in us a love of games like Scrabble and Boggle, for playing with us and taking us for walks, letting us work with you in the garden to plant flowers or vegetables or pull out weeds. Thank you for having patience with us when we're silly, which is often, for learning to accept me and my three sisters, and that when we're together, we're just going to be silly. Thank you for being the cameraman when we need someone to videotape us doing cooking shows, wearing afros and spandex and throwing zucchini muffin batter all over the kitchen, for so patiently helping a certain brother of ours getting himself organized in the morning so that he can catch the bus on time, when all he wants to do is make music at the kitchen table or in the bathroom with his toothbrush. There aren't many moms who would do that. Thank you for being a mom who encourages us to get involved in our community, for taking us to music lessons or sports practices or swimming lessons or after school clubs or brownies or guides or whatever else we wanted to do. I'm sure for many years you felt chauffeur was your most accurate job description. Thank you for being such a great role model, both for us and for other parents, for refusing to be irresponsible, for making parenting your top priority in life. Thank you for letting us go on adventures that take us far from home, for supporting us in our desires to see other countries and other cultures, for helping us to become citizens of the world. Thank you for teaching us to be proud of our accomplishments, for coming to our hockey games and practices, for cheering us on at graduation and award ceremonies, for making me feel confident when I had to take my driving test for the second time around, and for encouraging us in running and badminton and soccer and music, for listening to stories and speeches we wrote and helping us with suggestions for improvement, for teaching us to celebrate our victories, but also to learn from our losses and mistakes. Most of all, Mummy, thank you for teaching and showing us all about love, for being a mom who loves her kids and makes sure we know that, for hugging us and kissing us, for making us feel better when we're sad, for being concerned about us when we're sick. In this community that I'm in right now, there are so many children who could benefit from being hugged at night and tucked into bed at bedtime, instead of being left outside to sniff gasoline in the dark. There are kids who need moms to care about feeding them and good food for lunch and supper. Kids who need parents that make sure they go to school with breakfast in their tummies and homework completed. Kids who would love to eat homemade pizza or spaghetti or even fish sticks and tuna instead of just a mini muffin and a popsicle for supper. There are kids here who are so smart and talented and beautiful, but don't know that because their parents never tell them or show them. I've worked at the school with children who are 8 and 9 and still can't read or even identify letters in the alphabet. And I think how much more of a chance these kids would have if parents like you were to come in on Friday mornings and spend time helping them learn. I've met children who don't know the wonders of music lessons or sports teams or stories about Alfie and Anna Rose or Babar or Dogger. There are 2-year-olds who watch R-rated movies with their parents instead of listening to songs by Raffi or Sharon Lois and Bram, or know how wonderful it is to be read to, or just simply have someone to play with. There are kids here who come to school dressed in running shoes and sweatshirts for winter weather, not even having the option to be bundled up and look dorky in multiple layers of winter garb. In this community, there are children who will never go for a walk with their parents or get to plant flowers, vegetables. So many of these children don't know what it's like to feel safe at home because their parents hit and bruise their little bodies. And there are so many, many children who don't know what it means to be loved and cared for because their parents just don't know how to look after them properly. I know this may not seem so obvious when you're feeling stressed out because of some poor marks we've received in school or for our many messes at home, or when one of us lets the dog out when manure is being spread on the neighbor's fields, or when passports get lost just before a trip across the ocean, or when we choose to take a break from university in the midst of a degree. But you've taught us well. And I think that even if one of the children in this community could have a mom just like you, that this community would already be on the road to success. You have no idea how lucky or blessed or fortunate we are to have you as a parent. We're so blessed. Happy birthday, Mummy. Here's to you. And here's to all the mums and all the families and all the kids that need our help and all the love that we have to share. Amen.